Nebraska.
Okay. There you go.
Call the meeting to order for March 17th, 2025. We'll call the members.
Peters? Here. Schultz? Here. Brett Larson?
Here.
Chapman?
Here.
Silkworth?
Here. I had a chance to read the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes or make corrections?
Motion approved. Second.
Motion approved. And second, or sorry, been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion is carried.
This is our first meeting of the year. The next step is the election.
Oh.
So it just takes a motion by one of you all to pick who's gonna be, we'll start with the chairperson. And somebody can pick out who wants to be the next chair or vice chair, just to be safe. After that.
I nominate any one of you.
I nominate Justin Schultz for chair and her co-chair. Or him co-chair.
I'll second that.
All right. Any other nominations? Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Right,
So what's that mean? She swapped?
you can swap seats. There you go.
Chairman, Lieutenant Colonel.
Back to this. No.
Good thing you came to
Everybody.
tonight.
So the next one would be the vice chair.
Oh, that was her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you all in one? Okay. So Jill will be the vice chair. And then we put in there, just, it doesn't require any, action on, but we always put the 2025 meeting schedule in and review of the 2024 attendance. So it looks like Lynn Leaders had 100% attendance in this one. Good job, Lynn.
I would vote for next year, we don't do it on St. Patrick's.
Yeah.
That's in my personal.
And the schedule we laid out just continues with the schedule, that we have, which is 5:30, Monday evenings at 5:30 PM in this location. If there is a case to be had.
Okay, so we need a public hearing.
Public hearing is the next, yep.
We need to vote first or read this first?
Read first.
Okay. Public hearings will be conducted pursuant to the commission's rules and procedure. We'll first hear the report of the planning director on the detailed information and observations regarding the request before the commission, if not done so in writing, written form prior to hearing. Next, we'll take the testimony of the applicant and his or her witnesses. Upon completion of the applicant's testimony, I'll call upon members of the audience wishing to be heard concerning the request. Persons in favor of the request shall be heard first, followed by those opposed to it. At any time during the presentation testimony, the members of the commission may interrupt and ask questions or make comments on what's said. Upon completion of all testimony, the applicant will be allowed to make a closing statement to the commission. Upon completion of the applicant's closing statement, I'll entertain a motion from the commission to close the public hearing on the request. The commission reserves the right to ask any questions or member of the audience. However, we will hear any unsolicited statement. We will not hear any unsolicited statements unless the public hearing is first opened. Each speaker addressing the commission shall step forward to the podium, state their name and address before proceeding in their testimony of their evidence. This commission shall not be bound by strict rules of evidence, but reserve the right to exclude evidence or testimony that it may deem to be irrelevant, immaterial, incompetent, or unduly repetitious. As chairman, I will rule on all questions relating to the admissibility of the evidence, which may be overruled by a majority of the commission. Continuance may be granted by the commission in case for good cause shown to any interested party who has entered their appearance. The commission may request a continuance of a hearing for the purpose of giving further notice, taking further evidence, gathering further information, touring the proposed site, or for such other reasons as the commission may find sufficient. In such case, we shall state the specific reasons for the continuance and set a date, time, and place when the matter will be continued. All official actions of the commission will be made at a public meeting by a motion made, seconded, and a polling of the membership. If conditions are imposed, such conditions shall be included in the motion or amended thereto. Our final decision will be prepared in writing and will be part of the public record of this commission. That'll entertain open the motion public hearing.
Make a motion to open the public hearing for case number ZMA 2025-01.
Second that.
Is that a roll call or is that a?
Nope.
All right, call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. You're in public hearing.
So if we can have the applicant, which would be either a Michael or Christian Sneckla come up.
Hi there. Need your name and address.
Kristen Schnickla, 29425 310th Street, Neola.
What are you looking for?
We are wanting to open up a bait and tackle shop at our property right by Arrowhead Park. So we just need permission for the property to be rezoned. Half of it, I guess, is commercial able, but not all of it is. So,
Questions?
yes,
Since I live by you,
yes.
my concern is people coming in and out of that property, but the traffic is there. Will there be enough room to pull in and turn around and pull out?
Yeah. We actually talked about that today and spoke with Dave about it as well. We don't want anybody having to back out onto that road. So we're going to make it either to where we can do a full turnaround or have it marked or instructed to do like a point turn. So
So they do not
Yeah.
back out.
right.
Oh, that's all I had. Good to go. Example.
That was my only one.
Thank you. Is there anyone that wants to speak in favor of this in the audience? Certainly welcome to if you'd like.
You can sit down now.
Anyone wish to speak opposed to this matter? Okay. Any other questions from us? I guess?
Nope, recommend to close the public hearing.
Okay. I'll take a motion from you to do that.
Second.
Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion's carried.
So there's a plan to use a, existing structure, or are you gonna build a new structure?
We're gonna have a premier building.
Okay.
Well, portable building, I think,
Okay.
on skids,
Oh,
like a portable shed, just around 20 by 12 or
so
not
not,
real big.
Not, not
So they'll come back to the zoning board of adjustment. After, so if they're successful at rezoning,
right,
then they'll
then
come
you
back
have to,
to the zoning board of adjustment, and ask for conditional use
that's what I
to
thought. I just,
utilize that. And then that's where we'll kind of
Yeah,
settle out
we'll-
all the turnarounds and what the building pieces of it go into.
Do they have to have like public restroom and all that kind of stuff at this facility? or is it-
If we do have it'd be a porta potty, but we were told as long as we're not serving no food or, open food or
Yeah.
drinks or anything like that, but we didn't
we
need
wouldn't
them
need to.
running water. or anything.
And the way that their property currently sits at, you could, on the, so the way the zoning lays out across Pottawattamie County is around each community during the comprehensive plan. And this would have been done back in 2004, 96, 2004, I believe, that they gave each town a half-mile buffer that went around that zoned a portion of this property into the R2 zoning. And, but that in order to, and then the rest of the property is zoned A2. So it's just kind of one of those inadvertently things where the R2 touches the property, but it did not consume the entire property, because I'd have to think at the time it was kind of done, mapping wasn't all that great, and it wasn't a parcel by parcel decision that's gone back through. So we've done a couple of different ones of these throughout the time. And with it, and then also the road surface type and everything aligns with what we need it to be. So that's why when they called in about it, we're like, well, let's have you go through the rezone the entire parcel into the R2 zoning district. And then, once that stuff's completed, then they would come back and finish out with their conditional use permit for it. But, it aligns, I think, with everything with the comprehensive plan and what it needs to be R2, so. Mhm.
I make a recommendation to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
A second.
Motion and second. Any discussion?
And this one will be a roll call then.
Roll call, please.
Chapman,
Yes.
Silkworth,
Yes.
Larson.
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Leaders.
Yes.
Okay, the recommendation to approve. So now the next step is it will go to the board of supervisors,
April 15th.
2 meetings, right?
Yep.
So April 15th. The next one.
All right,
Perfect.
thank you, guys.
Thank
You're welcome.
Take care. Thank you.
Still a lot of worms.
Yeah. Oh.
We've got two good workers.
Yeah. Yeah. This one here is Spitfire.
I think he'll be working harder than her right now.
Thanks.
Take care.
Yep, take care.
Only other business I could just kind of give you a quick legislative update that there may be some changes potentially coming across that will come through you all. The first one being on our accessory dwelling ordinance, even though we just modified our accessory dwelling ordinance. The AARP is pushing some legislation through that will, even lessen the requirements even further for accessory dwelling units. So we may be coming back to modify that if it gets signed into law. Secondary to that is there's also a bill that has passed so far, addressing zoning board of adjustments. And it changes the language into, what it takes to requirements to get a variance, and they're turning it into practical difficulties. As long as they can show a practical difficulty, they may be in line for a variance, which will really leave it up in the air for us, because a tree being in the way could potentially be a practical difficulty, anything. That's the problem. They don't define what a practical difficulty is. And until there was some case law on it, but those are the two that seem to be picking up speed enough to make it through right now. There was also some solar and wind siting things going through.
What, solar and wind, what was the last?
Solar and wind for utility scale projects,
Sighting, what,
siting.
and that means what?
That means like if they want to be on a piece of
Oh,
ground,
site, the site area.
right? They feel as though 50% of the counties have basically outlawed wind and solar through their zoning ordinances, and the state is really wanting to push solar and wind. And so, that very well it might come back.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the matter if the IRA gets repealed anyway? I mean, they're not gonna get the tax incentive out there
No
anymore.
more grants. They're,
The interest is still there to do these. I mean, there's, and that's, yeah, I'm surprised as well, but they say, one of the people that I'm dealing with, they're a development company that just goes and does solar projects. And all they do is they get it through the conditional use once they get the conditional use permit, then they sell it. And that's all that, their whole game is to just get to the conditional use, get approval for the conditional use permit. Then they sell it and somebody else will come in and build the project after them. And so I asked them, I said, what's the point in continuing with this? When you realize, when you know where we're at with the tax incentives and the new administration at the federal level and stuff like that. And they go, if we get the conditional use permit, they said we'll sell it tomorrow. They said, we don't have a qualm with that. We believe it'll sell right
Just
away.
won't build anything.
Somebody,
Right. Somebody will.
You think they'll build
Yeah.
instantly?
Yes,
Hold on to it?
they'll come in and build right away. And I mean, they purchased one farm for, they paid $10 million for this farm. I mean, they're that. So. I don't know if it'll come back or not, but it's definitely on the state legislative things. And if that happens, then we will end up having to just adopt.
So there is money out there.
all last week on DC, that next credit seemed like they're about to go away real quick, but
And all that money, some of them.
That's all I got for you.
maybe it's better served to ask you offline, but the annexation piece, can you update us on that at all, or is that something we should talk about outside of this?
Yeah, so the city of Council Bluffs is annexing down into Mills County. And
Oh, really?
they are a good portion, the largest piece of it, I don't have a map to show you, but, so there's a thin strip of Pottawattamie County ground that they would be annexing, and then around the Bellevue interchange, it grows much broader on both the east and the west side of the interstate. And the Board of Supervisors drafted some comments, sent that over to the city of Council Bluffs, because they're not we're 192nd Street, south of Council Bluffs, where it runs next to the interstate and comes down there. The city only went to the center line of the road, and well, then what they left us was the center line of the road into DOT ground. There's nothing there. There's no,
25 feet, right?
yeah, I mean, there's literally nothing that goes into the interstate. And so they want the city to take the road. The city sees this as a two-step process. They see it as let us annex the ground and then we'll work out a road maintenance agreement, where both counties are pushing back right now saying, no, let's work out the road agreement. And then we'll say that we're okay with your annexation. And right now, neither side wants to bend, so I'm not sure what's gonna happen.
So you can't annex across property or county lines?
You can.
As long as it's within how many miles of the city limits? What's that normal? 2 miles or?
I mean, it's just voluntary annexation. It's like Shelby's annexed quite a bit down into Pottawattamie County.
Does it matter? It leaves basically Sire and that other chunk in an island, right? I mean,
Somewhat, I mean, there's a larger portion that goes back around by the river, kind of swings up and around that way.
doesn't it have to be contiguous or not?
Well, the continuous piece is that 20-foot strip that they come down along their pump station, and they say that that makes it continuous, but it looks like it kind of looks like a giant hemorrhoid hanging out there.
Yeah.
Right.
How
I
they-
got you.
You need to flip it.
Well, that road agreement's a nightmare anyway, and, we tried to, on board, we tried to do something with that interchange and then fell through too.
So Bungy's he's not part of that mix then.
No, Bungee's not a part of it.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Say aye.
Is this